You may have one or two dogs in your life that are aggressive over food. Now, this is a main element of life. Dogs are willing to fight for food. And this is why I'm so against the issue of giving treats to dogs in training, because it ultimately is teaching dogs that humans are submissive to dogs when it comes to food. They believe that human hands become dispensers for dogs' food. They look at children and they think that if a child has food in his hand, they've always been able to take food from humans whenever they approach them. So then a child is standing around with his sandwich and the dogs start to badger and pester and poke and become aggressive and dominant with the child until they win the piece of food over. And in some cases, children get hurt because of this, because children have a more submissive personality. They are more victimized by dogs' bossy, demanding, aggressive behavior. So whether it is a dog in our pack, our family, that is becoming aggressive with another dog over their eating bowls, or simply any type of aggression towards humans, it is all correctable. But we have to start again with laying the foundation of who's running the show. We teach our dog not to pull on our leash. We teach them our down stay commands, even under distraction, not in a simple little routine that we do at 5:30 at night after work every day. But we take the dog and we start to include our training lessons into our normal life. If you're going to go for a coffee at Starbucks, take your dog. Once you've learned your down in a non-distracting environment, and you've added more distraction to it, put it down beside your chair. Make it stay there. Again, if it breaks its command, you make the correction without saying anything. You're simply making your corrective snap to the ground, increasing your correction until the dog realizes that under any amount of distraction, they do not have the right to control what's going on. Now, when you work your dog this way, the dog believes ultimately that you rule everything in life. And so then if you see dominance between two dogs over whether it be eating a bone or simply their food bowls, that you are then able to get in and make corrections on the dog who is being aggressive at that stage of the game. You can have a training collar on the one who is being the dominant dog and just walk over, short line, grab, snap, and tell the dog, no, relax. And the dog will understand that this is all part and parcel of your new program of control that you have in their life. I remember when I was a child, we had a German Shepherd, and I used to lay around and watch TV with the dog, and I thought he was my best friend. But when I crawled near his dog dish one day while he was eating, he growled at me with a tone that was enough to scare me. I was probably 10 years old at the time, and my dad was standing nearby. And I looked up at my dad, and he said, and when I sort of said, well, gee, he just growled at me, his response was, well, don't go near his food, because that's natural for a dog to growl or to protect his food. Now, unfortunately, my dad didn't understand that he was only doing that because we had allowed him to take a dominant place in our life. Even though he had gone to training at the Safeway parking lot once a week for a number of weeks and had passed with flying colors, we had a dog that became dominant, bossy, possessive, aggressive to people in many ways. And that growling over the food at me, even though I thought he loved me, was simply an indication that the dog was more dominant than me. And that he was willing, with his growl, he said he was willing to cause me personal physical harm if I was not willing to back off. I was aware enough of what he said to me in his growl that I did back away because it scared me. So he got the submission that he was looking for from me at that stage of the game. Now, if I'd have known better at the time, I would have taken him aside, worked with him, and shown him, by correcting him with other work, that he did not rule over me. And I would have been able to go back and go near his food, and he would not have challenged me. You can make a change in your dog's behavior over the food issue by working them in other ways first, going back and then attempting to retest the food situation. If you have a dog who's severely aggressive around food, you would want to muzzle your dog first. Put your food bowl down in front of the dog when the dog is muzzled. Let them start eating. Then go in and tell them to back away so that you have more confidence in the situation that the dog's not going to harm you if it does take a jump at you. Because they'll still threaten you with the muzzle on. But at least in that way, they're losing a little faster because they know they don't have the ability to fully bite if they wanted to. And you're protected that way, so you're a little more confident. You can get a large enough muzzle for your dog that they can actually eat their food through it. And when you start to do this with the muzzle on and you start to get a proper response after a few days of testing like this, then you can try it with the muzzle off. So just be careful in what you do, because it is something that dogs will truly fight for. If you've got a dog who's showing aggression, be cautious rather than careless, because you don't want to get hurt. It will only undermine your confidence in dealing with your own dog.